There's this idea that a midlife crisis is something that happens in your 40s or 50s, a sudden urge to buy a sports car, take up skydiving, or make some other dramatic change. But what if I told you that a midlife crisis doesn't have an expiration date? That even if you're 60, 70, or beyond, it's not too late to shake things up, rediscover yourself, and embrace a new chapter with excitement. Maybe you've been feeling a little restless lately, like there's still so much you want to do, but time seems to be moving faster than ever. Or perhaps life has settled into such a comfortable routine that you've started wondering, is this it? Well, let me tell you something. That feeling isn't a sign that you've missed your chance. It's an invitation to redefine what this stage of life can look like on your terms. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to have a midlife crisis the right way. Not as a panic, but as a celebration. Not as a last hurrah, but as a fresh start. Because no matter your age, it's never too late to ask yourself, what do I really want now? And more importantly, how do I go after it? Let's start with the first step, giving yourself permission. You might be thinking, aren't I too old for this? Or maybe you worry about what others will say. But here's the truth, this is your life. And if there's ever a time to stop worrying about what's expected of you, it's now. So take a deep breath and say it with me. It's okay to want more. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to do something just because it brings you joy. Think about it. How many years have you spent putting others first? Kids, career, responsibilities? There's nothing selfish about finally asking, what do I need? Maybe it's picking up that hobby you dropped decades ago. Maybe it's traveling somewhere you've always dreamed of. Or maybe it's as simple as letting yourself rest without guilt. Whatever it is, give yourself the green light. This is your time. Now, once you've given yourself that permission, the next step is to get curious. Curiosity is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And it's one of the best tools you have to reignite that sense of possibility. Start small. What's something you've always been interested in but never explored? Maybe it's painting, gardening, or learning to play an instrument. Or maybe it's something bigger, like going back to school or starting a side project. The key here isn't to pressure yourself into some grand transformation overnight. It's simply to explore. Try a class at your local community center. Check out a book on a topic you know nothing about. Strike up a conversation with someone who's doing something interesting. The goal isn't to have it all figured out. It's to remind yourself that life is still full of surprises and you're never too old to discover them. And that brings us to the third piece, redefining what risk means. When we're younger, taking risks often means big, bold moves, quitting a job, moving across the country, things that feel high stakes. But at this stage, risk might look different. It might mean speaking up about what you want, even if it surprises your family. It might mean trying something you're not immediately good at and being okay with that. It might mean saying no to things that drain you, so you have space to say yes to what excites you. The beauty of a midlife crisis done right is that it doesn't have to be reckless. It's not about throwing caution to the wind. It's about finally listening to that quiet voice inside that's been saying, there's more to me than this. So, let's keep going. Because the best part? This is just the beginning. Now that we've talked about giving yourself permission, getting curious, and redefining risk, let's move on to something equally important. Surrounding yourself with the right people. You've probably heard the saying, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And while that might sound a little harsh, there's truth to it. Think about the people in your life right now. Do they lift you up? Do they inspire you? Or do they subtly, or not so subtly, discourage you from stepping outside your comfort zone? Here's the thing. This is your midlife crisis, or renaissance as I like to call it. And you deserve cheerleaders, not naysayers. That doesn't mean cutting people out of your life, but it does mean being intentional about who you share your dreams with. Seek out those who make you feel energized, not drained. Maybe it's joining a club, reconnecting with an old friend who's always encouraged you, or even finding an online community of people exploring similar passions. And don't underestimate the power of new connections. Some of the most inspiring friendships happen later in life, when we're open to meeting people who see us differently than those who've known us for decades. So, strike up a conversation with someone at the coffee shop. Take a class where you'll meet like-minded folks. Let yourself be surprised by who walks into your life when you start living with a little more boldness. Now, let's talk about something that might feel a little uncomfortable at first: letting go. A midlife crisis often gets a bad rap because people associate it with impulsive decisions, walking away from marriages, burning through savings, or making choices they later regret. But doing it right isn't about running from something. It's about making space for something. And that means letting go of what no longer serves you. Maybe it's a grudge you've been carrying for years. Maybe it's a role you've outgrown. The always reliable parent, the overworked volunteer, the person who never says no. Or maybe it's simply the belief that it's too late for you to change. Whatever it is, ask yourself, is this still helping me, or is it weighing me down? This isn't about erasing your past. It's about honoring it while making room for what's next. Try this. Write down one thing you're ready to release. It could be as simple as, I'm letting go of feeling guilty when I take time for myself. Then tear it up, burn it, or toss it in the trash. Symbolic? Sure. But sometimes a small ritual can make a big shift feel real. And finally, let's talk about play. When was the last time you did something just for the fun of it? Not because it was productive, not because it checked a box, but because it made you feel alive. If you're struggling to remember, that's your sign. Play isn't just for kids. It's how we reconnect with joy, creativity, and spontaneity. All things that tend to get buried under decades of responsibility. So what does play look like for you? Maybe it's dancing in your living room to music from your youth. Maybe it's trying a silly new hobby like pottery or stand-up comedy. Maybe it's taking a trip with no itinerary, just curiosity. The point isn't what you do, it's how it makes you feel. Light, free, a little mischievous even, because that's the spirit of a midlife crisis done right. Not a desperate scramble to recapture youth, but a joyful reclaiming of the parts of yourself that never really went away. So, where does this leave us? Well, we've covered a lot of ground, but there's still one big piece left to explore: how to turn all this inspiration into action without getting overwhelmed, because that's where the magic really happens. So far, we've talked about giving yourself permission, getting curious, redefining risk, surrounding yourself with the right people, letting go of what no longer serves you, and, most importantly, rediscovering the joy of play. Now, let's bring it all together with the final piece of the puzzle: taking action. Action is where dreams stop being ideas and start becoming real. But here's the secret: it doesn't have to be a giant leap. In fact, the best way to make lasting change is to start small. Tiny steps consistently taken add up to big transformations over time. Think about it this way: if you've spent years, maybe decades, living a certain way, you can't expect to flip a switch and suddenly be different overnight. That's not how lasting change works. Instead, ask yourself, what's one small thing I can do today that moves me in the direction I want to go? Maybe it's signing up for that class you've been curious about. Maybe it's setting aside 10 minutes a day to journal or sketch or just sit quietly with your thoughts. Maybe it's finally booking that weekend getaway you've been putting off. The key is to make it so easy that you can't say no, because once you start, momentum builds. That first small step leads to another and another until one day you look back and realize how far you've come. Now, let's address something that might be holding you back: fear. Fear is natural. It's your brain's way of trying to protect you from the unknown. But here's the thing: fear doesn't get to decide your future, you do. So, when that voice whispers, "What if I fail?" or "What will people think?" acknowledge it, thank it for trying to keep you safe, and then gently say, "I've got this." And remember, failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the process. Every misstep is just feedback, a chance to adjust and keep going. The people who live the most vibrant lives aren't the ones who never stumble. They're the ones who keep getting back up. One of the most powerful ways to move past fear is to focus on who you want to be, not just what you want to do. Ask yourself, what kind of person am I becoming through this? Maybe it's someone more courageous, more open, more alive. When you connect your actions to your identity, I am someone who tries new things. It becomes easier to take those steps, even when they feel scary. Finally, let's talk about celebration. Too often, we wait until we've reached some big, distant goal before we let ourselves feel proud. But life isn't just about the destination, it's about all the little moments along the way. So, celebrate everything. Tried something new? That's a win. Said no to something that drained you? Win. Took a nap instead of pushing through exhaustion? Major win. Celebration reinforces the positive changes you're making. It tells your brain, this is good. Let's do more of this. So take a moment at the end of each day to acknowledge how far you've come, even if it's just in small ways. Now, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. A midlife crisis doesn't have to be a crisis at all. It can be a rebirth, a chance to rewrite the script, to reclaim the parts of yourself you thought were gone, to discover new ones you never knew existed. You've spent so much of your life taking care of others. Now, it's your turn. Not because you're selfish, but because you deserve it. Because the world needs the full, vibrant, unapologetic version of you. Not the one who's tired, not the one who's just going through the motions, but the one who's truly alive. So, what's next for you? Maybe it's something big. Maybe it's something small. Whatever it is, start today. Not tomorrow, not someday. Today. Because the best time to begin was years ago, and the second best time is right now. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's one thing you're excited to explore or change in this next chapter of your life? Let's inspire each other. And if this video resonated with you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content to help you live your best life at any age. Remember, it's never too late to become who you were meant to be. Here's to your next great adventure. May it be your most fulfilling one yet. Do subscribe to keep the circle growing.